What's up guys, Kurama here with another review video. Clair Obscure Expedition 33 is not just a game, it's a profound artistic journey, a hauntingly beautiful world stitched together by emotion, mystery, and defiance. In a time where games are often judged by spectacle and scale, this one dares to take a different path, where storytelling, emotional weight, and unique gameplay mechanics converge to form an unforgettable experience. Now, I'll be honest with you, this was my very first turn-based combat game. I've always leaned towards real-time action and wasn't quite sure how I'd feel about a combat system built around timing and tactics rather than raw instinct. But Expedition 33 surprised me, captivated me, even. And now, after completing a full Let's Play series of the game, which you can check out in the playlist link below and in the video end cards, I can confidently say this is one of the best gaming experience I've had in a long while. Like I mentioned, this was my very first time diving into a turn-based combat experience. I wasn't sure I'd vibe with it, but Expedition 33 proved me wrong in the most beautiful way. It takes the idea of turn-based action and injects it with so much creativity, intensity, and emotion that you forget it's just a turn-based. It feels alive. The game throws you into a surreal, painterly world where every encounter is part of a greater narrative. Each expedition you embark on feels urgent and personal, and the gameplay does a phenomenal job of balancing combat, exploration, and character-driven storytelling. There are mechanics here that feel fresh, even revolutionary, and I'll go into more detail about them in the unique features section. I kept seeing people online talk about how the game was this sleeper hit, one of the best games of the year kind of talk, but I couldn't tell exactly what made it so special, so I did what most gamers do when they're curious. I checked out a few streams, and immediately the gameplay fascinated me. Something about the artistic direction, the combat, the world, it all clicked, even if I didn't understand it yet. So I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I did. The game's story is rich, really rich. Like, go back and rewatch your own footage to notice things you missed. Rich. Even after finishing it, I realized there were layers I hadn't fully grasped until later. The way the narrative is presented is like a moving painting. It's abstract, yes, but profoundly beautiful. The controls are crisp and responsive. From movement to combat to exploration, everything feels tight and purposeful. Of course, learning to parry on time is a skill you'll need to master, especially if you're playing on expeditional level difficulty, which is what I went with. The parry window is quite strict and enemies hit harder, but that's part of what makes the combat so engaging. If you're not into that challenge, there's a story mode too, which tones down the difficulty and lets you focus more on the narrative. Either way, the control system supports both approaches well. I'd say the balance between challenge and responsiveness is spot on. There are a lot of things that make the game stand out, but what really struck me was how much variety it packed into its turn-based system. You have to parry in a turn-based game. Yeah, it sounds strange at first, but the game turns it into something genius. Some enemies require a perfectly timed parry, which is called a gradient parry. Others need you to jump, dodge, or respond with different inputs depending on either attack cues. Perfect dodging earns you AP, and perfect skill activation does massive damage. It's a mix of precision, rhythm, and intuition. Then there's the world itself. It's open, vast, and filled with optional stories, hidden bosses, and secret areas. One of the best features is SK, the big companion creature that allows you to traverse area by flying, swimming, or navigating tight spaces. It makes backtracking and exploring feel charming and fluid. Now, spoiler alert, mild story details ahead. I'll avoid major spoilers, but I don't promise anything. The story of Clair Obscure Expedition 33 unfolds like a myth wrapped in a melancholy. Humanity faces extinction through an event known as the Gamache, where entire lives are quite literally erased from existence, as if painted out of reality. And the only thing standing in the way? The expeditioners, a group of warriors who set out each year to stop the entity responsible, the Paintress. You play as Mael, a beautifully written protagonist who balances ferocity with emotional depth. Her journey isn't just about fighting or surviving, it's about remembering, grieving, holding on to purpose even when the world forgets you. She's layered, broken, and determined, and the story makes you feel all of that. The supporting characters too, Gustave, Sophie, Lune, and the rest, the people of Lumiere, they're not just side notes, they're part of the emotional web that holds the story together. Every line of dialogue, every cutscene, every encounter feels meaningful and deliberate. The narrative is a poetic reflection on memory, identity, and loss. Through the motif of painting and erasure, the game explores what it means to be remembered and what it means to fight against fate. It doesn't spoon-feed you its story, instead, it lets you discover it piece by piece. Through environments, conversations, combat outcomes, and dreamlike sequences. This layered structure invites players to engage more deeply, to think, to feel, and to interpret. It's storytelling as an art form. At the heart of it all is Maëlle, one of the main characters. Her arc is powerful, heartbreaking, and inspiring. She isn't just a leader, she's a symbol of resistance, of memory, of grief turned into action. Throughout the journey, Maëlle grows not just in power, but in emotional complexity. Her connection to the other expeditioners, to the lost souls of Lumiere, and to the haunting mystery of the Gamache form the spine of the entire story. You become her as you play, with other characters as well, and by the end, you won't be the same either.
Nothing, just thinking about
Okay, this game made me feel emotional, honestly, like 90% of the time. There's a weight to everything in the game. The looming fear of the Gamache, the mystery surrounding the paintress, and the way every expedition feels like both a mission and a last hope. It hits deep.
How do you do it?
What struck me most was how purposeful everything felt. These characters aren't just fighting monsters, they're fighting oblivion, fighting to be remembered, to matter. The expeditioners carry this enormous burden and still they move forward. It feels like a dichotomy, this paradox of hope and despair existing in the same breath. The storytelling brought out everything: grief, joy, fear, laughter, purpose, and when you finally get to the end and have to make that one final decision, you realize this game wasn't just something you played, it was something you felt. It's rare to find a game that can do that. This one did, and that's what makes it unforgettable.
I imagine what they would say.
So I played this game on PC using an AMD RX 6700 XT with a Ryzen 5 5600G CPU and another 2GB of DDR4 RAM. The game ran incredibly well. Frame rates were constantly in the 50s, peaking in the 60 to 64 range, with some of the settings set to high or epic. And I didn't experience any stutters or issues, but let's talk about the visuals first. The game looks stunning. The art style is this mix of oil painting textures with surreal, dreamlike color palette. It's as if you're walking inside a moving piece of concept art. Even though the texture detail isn't ultra high, the composition and lighting makes the world feel otherworldly, deliberately, and alive. And the audio, man, the audio deserves an award. Every parry, every counter-attack, every spellcast has this weight to it. The compact audio feedback is tight and punchy, while the ambient sounds perfectly complement the ethereal mood of each zone. The way the music blends into the action without ever overwhelming it shows how much care went into crafting this soundscape. There's no other way to say it. This game is living painting. The oil-brushed textures, the stylized lighting, the way colors smear and blend across the landscape, it's all intentional. The world design isn't trying to be realistic, it's trying to be emotional. From the floating ruins and crumbling cities to the deep forest and quiet forgotten shrines, every environment feels like a memory captured mid-fade. And it's this visual storytelling that sells the fantasy. It's melancholic, airy, and breathtaking all at once. The soundtrack? Phenomenal. The OST for Expedition 33 is one of the best I've ever had in a game. It doesn't just support the story, it elevates it. There were moments I'd pause just to listen, and even after finishing the game, I found myself searching for the soundtrack online just to relieve those emotions. Some of these tracks are engraved in my memory. They accompany the most powerful moments in the game, like a symphony of sadness, resolve, and hope. The composer knew exactly what to do. Soft strings in times of grief, haunting vocals during key moments, and intense orchestral burst during battle. It's beautiful, it's cinematic, it's timeless. With my setup of AMD RX 6700 XT, CPU of Ryzen 5 2600G, and that 2GB of RAM, I can confidently say the game ran smooth throughout. There were no crashes, no bugs, no stuttering, no game-breaking issues. It's very well optimized. Even in larger areas of combat-heavy sequences, the performance held strong. You can tell this isn't just a pretty game, it's a technical, polished one too. It respects your time and your hardware. The UI in this game is clean, functional, and surprisingly intuitive. Whether you're managing the character's stats, upgrading your skills, navigating through menus, or adjusting game settings, it's all super clear. Nothing feels cluttered, and the design aesthetic of the menus matches the overall visual theme of the game. The upgrade system are straightforward and well laid out. Especially for the newcomers like me, it's exactly what you want from a game that focuses so much on immersion. You never feel pulled out of the experience. This game is packed with replayability. Even after finishing the main story, there's still so much left to do. Hidden bosses, side quests, low-heavy locations, alternate outcomes. Just soaking in the world again with more knowledge about the plot completely changes how you experience earlier zones. For a $45 game, this gives you way more than your money's worth. This is also on Game Pass, which is how I played it, making it one of the best values on the platform right now. You're not just buying a game, you're investing in an emotional journey. So some of the pros I've experienced on the game is its rich, layered story that hits emotionally, the beautiful art direction and world design, the unique turn-based combat with real-time inputs, the story, character, and development, and the outstanding music and sound design. Not only forgetting the immense replayability with the optional content, the excellent performance and stability, and the thoughtful UI and upgrade systems. For the cons, I only have one. Okay, look, I have to mention this, I'm sorry, but if you get spoiled, I'm sorry for this. The Game of Thrones, one of the main characters. I won't spoil who or how it happens, but if you've played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That moment hurt. Still, it's part of what made the experience so memorable. This game left a mark on me. I've played a lot of titles over the years, but few have made me feel like this one did. Everything from the art to the characters to the narrative structure was so carefully crafted, so full of heart that I couldn't help but be drawn in. And yes, we've been getting games with better graphics every year, but this is a work of art, and I mean that in the truest sense. It reminded me why I play games in the first place, not just for flashy visuals or fast-paced action, but to be moved, to see creativity take shape. Gamers want experiences. We want something that reaches into our soul and stays there, and that's what the game gave me, and I'm thankful for it. Oh my god, the Gommage scene, specifically the one where the people of Lumiere were being taken, that's a moment that'll stick with me forever. Watching Gustave witness Sophie, one of his closest allies, vanish like that, it was devastating. And what hit even harder was knowing the truth about the Gommage later on. When you finally pieced together the why and the who behind it all, my heart just sank. It was poetic, tragic, and unforgettable. That scene elevated the entire experience. There's no doubt in my mind this game is a 10 out of 10. Perfect. Not because it's flawless in a technical sense, but because it achieves exactly what it sets out to do. It's passionate, poetic, profound, it dares to be emotional and weird and artistic, and it succeeds. If anything, I wish I could play it again for the first time, just to feel all those emotions from scratch, but even revisiting it now will still be worth it. If you haven't played it, please do, and if you have, you already know what I mean. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.